Hello. So today I wanted to go into some of the things that I do when I'm testing a brand new car and track combination, some of the things that I look for, and just some of the things that I do on track in general that I think have helped me become a little bit faster and a little bit more consistent. So I'll just go ahead, get the headset on, and we'll get started on this lap. So before we go out on track, I think it's important to mention that I have found it extremely beneficial to take the time to map this wheel so that it works for everything that I want to do while I'm in car or here in the garage. So I've got this flip to just be able to jump right into the track. And then one of my favorite things, being able to turn the car on. My brake balance, it's at 55.5. It was at that when I was running this morning, so I'll just go ahead and leave it at that. All right, first gear, and let's get this mirror off. And we'll just go around the car over here. Extremely tight pit lane leaving here. Now, Daytona is a very special track for me. When we moved here to the United States, this was one of the very first tracks that we went to when we got back into racing. So this has been around in my mind since I was very young, and it's always been a track that I wanted to drive. 2 years ago, I was right here behind this wall, photographing Kimi and Sebastian driving 2014 Formula One cars, and I was fortunate enough to have been invited to the Finale Mondiale that took place here at Daytona. It's a super cool event, a lot of Formula One stuff going on, so it was a lot of fun being able to hang around. I'm going to let this guy go by as I run completely wide there. Now, I'm in a practice session instead of a private test session because I think it's important to be on track with other people, because remember that within this simulator there are other people out here that are doing, or at least I want to remember that there are people out here doing the same exact thing that I'm doing, and I want to make sure that my racing etiquette is on point so that I don't piss anybody off and everybody has a good time doing what we're doing here. So again, I'm in a practice session because of that reason, and also I've noticed that, and not even that, I've also heard mentioned that if you're on track with somebody that's faster than you, or they're in front of you and you just can't get around them, take a look at their brake lights. We're fortunate enough to have the luxury to be able to have these computer games that are advanced enough to let us see in real time when somebody else is braking. So take advantage of that, and it'll give you a range of where to start braking. So right now, coming down the back straight, it's a long run back down into turn one. Turn one has always been a struggle for me since the double apex. I still don't know exactly where to brake. So one of the most important things that I always do, ran a little bit wide there, when I'm testing a new car and track combo, I just try to take it very, very slow around track and just try to find the line, try to find where all the apexes are, and just try to get to a point where I can focus. And it's a huge difference when you are several laps in and you're in that rhythm already, as opposed to this that we just jumped in here. So let's see what these guys are doing over here. All right, so we'll let him go. I don't know what he's doing over here, but just trying to avoid any unnecessary contact. Sometimes you just don't know what people are going to do, and I'm really trying to get through my license levels, so I'm really trying to play it safe for now and avoid any unnecessary contact, avoid the off tracks as much as possible. So really and truly, how to learn a track, that's how I'm learning tracks. I'm just taking it slow, trying to get on track with other people so that I can see what they're doing and just get a reference point, and just do endless laps. Try to do as many laps as possible, get in several race sessions, and get into a mindset that if it's your first several races, unless you're amazing and unless, by some sort of luck, you have this magical talent, you're probably not going to do as well as you're hoping to do. You need practice. It's something that takes a lot of practice, and it's something that I am so lucky to be able to do right here in my office and be able to just get on this simulator and practice laps around tracks that I love and cars and drive cars that I absolutely love. So I'm going to treat this lap as my in lap. And one of the most important things I do is every time I have a race, I see a lot of people just pull over, they'll reset, they'll go back to the garage, and they'll retire, go back to their regular lives. I try to take the in lap and take advantage since there's nobody on track. I'll take the corners nice and slow. I'm already in that rhythm and already in that zone of I had a 15-minute race or however long the race was. I'm already in that zone, and I think that I can see braking points, and Apex is much better that way. So I'll do that, and again, I'm already in that zone, so it tells my brain in a little bit clearer way, like, this is where I need to improve. So it's almost subconscious. When I get off the simulator, I go back to doing my work, or I go back to doing it, whatever it is that I want to do. And believe it or not, at least for me, subconsciously, my brain is thinking of corners and thinking of braking points, so that the next time I get back on the simulator, it all makes a little bit more sense, and I find ways, and I find more confidence to try and find more time and just be able to not necessarily take more risks, but be able to push a little bit more. And coming back into pit lane. Thank God for this pit limiter. Not only is it functional, it's another cool thing that I love to be able to do. I know watching Formula 1 all the time, I see all of these Formula 1 drivers on their super cool, expensive wheels hitting the pit limiter, so kind of cool to be able to do that here too. All right, so basically that's really what I try to do try to get a lot of practice runs in. It's nice that when you register for a race, you're able to, I think you have a good like 25, 30 minutes of practice. Those practice runs are incredible. People are already in the moment and already in the mood to race. So if you get a good group of people, those practice runs are invaluable. They can help you gain as much time as possible. Just really pay attention, and not pay attention in the sense that pay attention to what's going on around you, but like just really pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to the gear shifts. Pay attention to the steering wheel and the amount of force that you're putting into the steering and into the pedals, and just kind of log all of that in your mind. And at least for me, my brain does it automatically. I don't know if it's because this was all I did back when I was growing up in karting, but I find it almost automatic for me. And that's about it for today. Tomorrow I'm getting a new wheel, so I'll be showing that and just going through it and testing it out, hoping that it's a little bit better than the original wheel that the TGT came with. I think that the TGT wheel, it's a little bit too thick for a lot of the cars that I'm driving, and it's a nice wheel. It's just a little too thick, I think, for a race car. So I'm excited to see what that new wheel is going to be like. So thanks for hanging around. See you later.